Hey Mama, welcome to the podcast. It is a Tuesday, and on my Tuesday episodes, I do a more motherhood-focused episode on things that I am learning or have learned, and I am getting really excited about these episodes. I actually have quite a bit in my mind lined up for what I want to do on these episodes. Specifically after today, I want to talk about emotional resilience. So today, though, we are talking about marriage. And there are a couple of reasons for this. At the time of this recording, it is February, which is Valentine's Day. And, Valentine's Day is in February. And my wedding anniversary is actually in February as well. So I have an exciting episode of things that I've learned in 14 years of marriage. 14 things. So let's jump into today's episode. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5 and host of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find the positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Let's find positivity during our pregnancies and in our motherhood together. Thanks for joining. I am a big supporter of marriage. I'm a huge proponent of marriage. I am a big supporter of doing what you can to make your marriage stronger. I have learned a lot about it. I've learned a lot about marriage. I've read a ton of books about marriage. I've done a lot of my own research on marriage, on making my marriage stronger, and then I've implemented and tried a ton. And I have learned a lot. Today we are going to go through 14 things that I've learned. This is not all, but this will give you a little glimpse into some things I've learned and hopefully things that you can implement into your marriage for a more happier marriage, a close marriage, a thriving marriage, a marriage that still has and shares love. It does take work, it does take intentionality, and it does take effort. Good, happy marriage is not effortless. So we are going to jump right into it. The first thing, and these are in no particular order. So just because I'm saying this one first doesn't mean it's most important. It's just these are things that came to me and I wrote them down. So anyways, take that for what it's worth. But the first thing that I wrote is, you can't control him, you can only control you. And when I realized that my happiness, my joy in my marriage didn't depend on him, it depended on me, it was a huge shift in the way that I thought and felt and how my marriage was. Now, he can do things that bring you happiness or that spark joy. For me, it's when my husband writes me a card. I enjoy stuff like that. It does bring me joy. It does make me happy. But ultimately, I am the one responsible for my happiness. And that also goes vice versa. He is the one responsible for his happiness and for his joy in the marriage. So you can't really control him. Now, this also goes to say that you may be able to do some things that bring joy and happiness to his life, but you are not responsible and you do not control his happiness. He does. We have agency. We are able to control only ourselves, which can be kind of freeing and powerful when you realize that you are in charge of how you feel, of how happy you are, of how in love you are, of how you love your marriage. You are in control of that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is teach him things that you would like him to do. So I don't know if you've done a lot of research about men, but men think differently than women. I have done a lot of research about this as well, just how we are wired differently. And in our women minds, we think that men should know what we want or what we want from them. And I have learned that they don't. Unless we tell them, they don't. And so that is what this tip is. It's to teach him the things that you would like him to do. So here's a little example. I really like to thrift. Thrifting is fun for me. I like to go to the thrift shop and bring home treasures that are really cheap, unique, one of a kind type of thing. And so I really like to play this game of have him guess what I bought it for. And at first he was unintentionally good at this game. He would guess high and my what I bought it for would be cheaper. And so I was really satisfied. But over time he got better at the game and he started guessing like almost what I was buying it for, and the game was just not as fun anymore. And so I've had to teach him, like, this is my thrift game. And in fact, the other day I just told him, I was like, it's the game where you guess high and then I tell you it was lower. And so sometimes we do have to specifically lay it out and tell them what we would like them to do. I wanted him to guess high. And then when my price was lower, I would feel so satisfied and good at the deal I got. Now this comes with speaking your love language as well. My husband and I actually have like opposite love languages. I'm a words person. He's not. He's more of a physical person and I'm not as much. So it takes training and reminding them like, hey, I'm a words person. Maybe send me a nice text today, or I enjoy when you write me letters. And there can be nice ways to put it. You don't have to get all up in arms about it, but teach them what you would like them to do. And over time they will learn and you won't have to be as blunt about it. They will figure it out. Number 3 that I wrote down is to allow intimacy to feel good. I have done a significant amount of work around intimacy and marriage. A lot of it was mental, actually, and I have many tips on this, actually, but I'm going to give you one right now, and that is to let go of any other thought during when you guys are being intimate other than just feeling good. That means you're not allowed to think about the kids. You're not allowed to think about your to-do list. You're not allowed to think about the sleep you wish you were getting. You're not allowed to think about work tomorrow or homeschool tomorrow or anything else other than just being with your husband. I have done a few episodes on this, or on topics similar to this. I will put a couple of them in the show notes. This probably was one of the biggest shifts for me in my marriage, is to get better at this part of marriage. It's hard. When you have kids, when you have mind chock full of a million things to do, it's really hard to be intimate sometimes. And I have learned that this is one good way to do it, is only allow yourself to be in that moment during that moment. So we're going to move on for that, but check the show notes for a couple other episodes where I have talked about intimacy in marriage. Another simple thought. Like I mentioned, a lot of these are just thought shifts that I've implemented that have helped me. And I hope that some of them will help you. And number 4 is let it go. Meaning, will this matter in 5 years from now? Now, for me, it comes to being late. I really hate being late, and especially when it's like my side of the family, because I grew up just not being late. His family kind of has the opposite trend. They just show up late a lot, and it is what it is. But me, sometimes I get really irritated when we're late. And so I've had to use this tip. Let it go. Will this really matter in 5 years? And that has helped me to just breathe through it and not cause extra contention that does not need to be there, especially when it comes to being late. Number 5, sometimes you do need to sleep it off. Some advice you may have heard is don't go to bed angry. I don't really agree. I do think sometimes you need to sleep it off. You need to cool down. There are moments where you may need to get it worked out, but I've actually found that as I sleep it off, I'm able to think clearer in the morning. I'm able to be a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more understanding than when I'm heated, hot, and annoyed and just feeling like I'm right and he's wrong. And so sometimes sleeping it off is a good thing, and it's okay. Number 6, compliment your man on the things that he does well, especially the manly things. So if your man is good at fixing your cars and he always is good at staying on top of the things that need fixed on him, on those, on the cars, compliment him on that. Or notice other things he does that you like and that you appreciate, and compliment. So find ways to compliment him on the things that he does well and that you enjoy that he does. Number 7. This one I actually learned from my grandparents, and you're going to have to use your own discretion for each situation, and it is to not correct him when he is disciplining the kids. Now, don't email me yet before I finish. If he is abusing your kids, of course you can intervene. But if he is disciplining them with like fair discipline, or maybe you feel it's a little unfair, but it's nothing harmful, let him finish and then you discuss it with him later. Now, the reason I have found that this is valuable, because it doesn't drive you apart. You're able to discuss, like, why did you do that? Like, why were you so harsh about this? And then it also allows the kids to see, like, that mom and dad are together. They are together. Now, disciplining kids is hard. Parenting is hard. And so we have to be really careful to not let these parenting things that we deal with, like disciplining our kids, come between us. Like I mentioned, there's always an exception, so you'll have to use your spiritual intuition on if this is an exception. And know that I am not perfect in these areas. In fact, just on a few days ago, I intervened on something that just kind of irritates me sometimes, and it was not pleasant. And it wasn't pleasant for a couple of days. And it really wasn't a matter of abuse. It wasn't physical or emotional abuse. It just was something that I don't entirely agree with. And so I'm still learning this, but there is value in this. And my grandparents told me this. And I can see the value because it doesn't drive you apart, and you're able to discuss it after, away from the children, and then the children don't have a way to wedge between you guys. Number 8 is don't gossip with anyone about all the things about him that bug you. Now, there are little quirks about our spouse that sometimes really bother us or get under our skin. Sometimes they are little things, sometimes they are big things, and sometimes you just want to tell your family members, your girlfriends, all about the things that are driving you crazy. And I recommend do not do this. This is another way that it can create a wedge in your marriage. For one, you are drawn away from him and putting some emotional effort into telling the other people, and that creates a wedge. And a wedge over time, if you can think of like a tree stump and a triangle metal wedge, if that triangle metal wedge is going into this tree stump just one slight pound at a time, it's almost invisible. But over time, that wedge is going to work completely into this tree stump and divide it. That's what can happen in marriage if we gossip about little annoyances with our friends or family members. I was privileged to have a revelation given to me. I was really upset about some things that my husband had bought once. I felt we were more strapped than apparently he did. And anyway, when I found out he bought him, I was very upset and really mad. And I really wanted to tell a particular person in my life. And I was in the shower, I was crying to myself about it, like literally crying. I was just frustrated and wanting to vent. And it was just this little thought that God gave me that if I tell this particular person that, it will drive my marriage apart. Like it was kind of like a fast forward 10 years. And if I went down that path, it was going to drive my marriage apart. So I cried it out in the shower. I think I had to sleep it off, and we worked through it. We talked about it, and it didn't put that wedge there. So sometimes it is better to not gossip. I do feel that sometimes you may need help with how to handle a situation, but that's when you go to very trusted sources who are looking out for the best of you and your marriage, like encouraging your marriage, encouraging you to work through it and not divide you. So also use your intuition there, the Holy Ghost, to help you figure out when you need a little bit of outside help and when it's just turning into gossip. Okay, number 9 is to learn his love language and speak it. If you have opposite love languages like my husband and I do, this can be very difficult. Just do your best though. First tip, learn that love language and then try to start speaking it. How do you think they would like to? In the 5 Love Languages book, he gives lots of suggestions, and maybe start there as a reference. But if you want your love to build, if you want to really feel connected to your husband, speaking his love language is one of the best ways to do it. Number 10 is listen to your husband. Fully listen to him. Get your attention away from the kids. If the kids try to interrupt, say, "I'm sorry, I'm talking to your dad right now." If it's your phone, put your phone down. If it's a book you really want to read and he's came in with something to say, put the book down, but listen genuinely to him. Even if you want sleep. I know sometimes my husband will come in and start talking to me and it just keeps getting later and later and later, and I tend to be a person who likes sleep, and I've had to learn, and I've chosen to learn to just listen to him. And that lack of sleep, be it 20, 30 minutes to an hour, probably at the most, has been so worth listening to him and what he has to say. I feel it's helped our marriage. Number 11, allow him to lead, guide, and preside over your family. We want our men to look out for us, to take care of us, and to guide us. And you have to allow them to do that. Sometimes we think my way's better, or I know how to do it better, I'll just take care of it. But sometimes we just have to let him do it. Let him guide, let him lead, and let him take us where he feels. I have a really good example of that. My husband was really wanting to move north from where we were living, and I did not want to move. I really liked where we were at. I liked the people around us. I liked our church group. But I also have the opinions and had the opinions like that the woman should kind of follow the man, and that's what I wanted to do. And he wanted to move us north, and I did drag my feet quite a bit, but I did follow, and what a blessing it has been to move and to be in this spot that we are in, and I am so grateful that he led and guided us in that instance. So allow your husband to do the same. Number 12, this is one that will really spark the joy again in your marriage, and that is to have fun with him by doing things that he likes. Our husbands oftentimes want to do things with us, but it's often us who doesn't want to do the things they want to do. My husband really enjoys going on side-by-side rides, four-wheeler rides, and exploring, and I tend to be a body who likes to stay safe, and mostly the safe part, I worry about machines breaking and getting lost. All things that have happened in my husband's adventures, and so to me, like, staying home sounds safe. But as I've let myself enjoy these things with him, and that's the key, you have to try to have fun. If you go to do things with him that you are just like a stick in the mud, you're feeling grumpy, you're annoyed, you don't want to be there, it will not build your marriage. But as you genuinely try to have fun in the things that he enjoys with him, you will notice that spark in your marriage begin to re-enlighten. It's pretty amazing. Number 13, I have mentioned this a little bit before, but it's a little bit different. And it says, let raising kids draw you together instead of drawing you apart. We had a church leader once tell us that the 3 main reasons of divorce in the church, in our church congregations, like locally, were money, intimacy, and how to raise children. And I don't know why, but the how to raise children really stood out in my mind. Like, people get divorced over that. And we don't want you to get divorced. So let it draw you together instead of drawing you apart. That will involve a lot of communication, a lot of discussing, a lot of trial and error to figure out the ways that parenting can draw you together instead of draw you apart. Family is the fundamental unit of society, and to build thriving families, we need thriving marriages. And that leads me to point 14, the last point I'm going to share in this episode. And that is that your marriage is worth the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual investment. It is worth all the time and effort that you put into it. It's worth the learning when you make mistakes. It's worth them admitting that you're wrong. It's worth humble submission to move if that's what it comes down to. It is worth the investment 100%, and it can build you and draw you closer together instead of further apart. God wants you to succeed in these endeavors. I want you to succeed in these endeavors. Your husband wants you to succeed in these endeavors. And I think most of all, you want to succeed in your marriage and to over time begin to build it together. My disclaimer is I'm not perfect. I still struggle in most of the areas that I talk about. I have found a lot of success in a lot of the areas, but I am also on this journey learning together, but all of these things have significantly helped me. So I hope they help you. If you ever feel to check in and let me know how your marriage is doing or if they have helped you, my email is positivityinpregnancy@gmail.com. positivityinpregnancy@gmail.com, and I would love to hear from you. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts and becoming the mother that you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. Thanks for joining. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward in your motherhood. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.